Let's look at one more province and what's happening there this morning, just in terms of workers' response to this call by COSATU, SAFTU and other unions. Jade Paulser is in KwaZulu-Natal. A very good morning to you, Jade. What's happening where you are?
Well, a very good morning to you, Desiree, and to the viewers back at home. And yes, COSATU members have started converging here at King Dinizulu Park. There's lots of people here, as well as members of the public who are also coming out in the numbers. I'm just going to ask the man behind the lens, Nhlanhla Faso, just to pan and show you some of the people who have come out. We are expecting the march to start at about 10:30. They will be marching to the City Hall, where they will be handing over a memorandum. Now, just driving here, Desiree, the streets have not been cordoned off. There is a high police visibility in the Durban CBD, just ensuring that the roads are open for this procession to make their way through. But just to talk to us about the logistics, I am joined by Edwin Mkhize, the Provincial Secretary of COSATU in the province. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Mkhize. Let's talk about the march. Obviously significant. It's happening across the country.
Yes, today we'll be marching. We are going to be marching from here, King Dinizulu Park, to City Hall, where we are going to hand over the memorandum to the Premier. In fact, we invited the Premier of the province, the business and the Department of Labour. Unfortunately, the Premier of the province is out of the country, but she has deployed the MEC for Economic Development in our province, Mr. Siboniso Duma, who is also a provincial chairperson of the African National Congress.
We're marching against several of the challenges that we are experiencing as South Africans, the rise in fuel prices, the rise in food prices as well. But many are saying, why now? Why take to the streets now? I mean, fuel has been rising for over months now.
Unfortunately for our province, it's not only now. If you recall, 2 months back, we were on the street marching against the fuel price hike, which ultimately leads to the increased food prices, as the food prices is so expensive now. So it's even on Friday this week, we were picketing at the headquarters of SABC, because the issues that we are dealing with, much as we are dealing with the issues of socio-economy, but we are also dealing with many other social issues affecting our people. South Africa, currently, the working class is really faced with many challenges. In fact, the triple crisis that we committed ourselves, that our democratic government must deal with, the crisis of unemployment, the crisis of inequality and poverty, we see it worsening because the economy continues to be owned by the few people. There is an investment strike where business do not want really to spend money to actually uplift the standard of our country, with the fallacy that the state cannot intervene, that the state cannot be a referent player when the capitalists are exploiting our poor people. We are saying that that's not true. The state has to intervene at the level of policy. Policy must be developed to address with the issue of the rising unemployment, which is now more than 36%, the rising youth unemployment, which is now more than 66%, the issue of 10 million people who are in unemployment grant of 350, which in itself is not enough, with the rising cost of living, as you have indicated, the rising cost of petrol, the rising cost of food items, and all those issues. We have to deal with the issue of the state that tends to privatize everything. We are dealing with the looming privatization of Transnet, which is actually threatening our Durban harbour here. We need to deal with the issue of saving our SOEs, make sure that the SOEs are able to provide for the people of the country, SOEs like ESCOM. So there are really a number of issues that we are raising. Again today, last week Friday, we're raising the issue of crime, killings, and we're saying to the government, you can't only run and rush when you have a mass number of people that have been killed, because our people in the township, in the streets, are facing this kind of criminality every day, day in, day out. You can't run because a group of women has been raped. We must avoid, we must be preventative in nature. We must avoid these things before happening, because you can't reverse the psychological effect of a woman that has been raped. You can't reverse, you can't bring back life when the life has barbarically taken through criminality. So we are raising a number of issues, but our main focus is that something drastically needs to be done to deal with the economic conditions facing South Africans.
And I'm just listening to some of those challenges that you've mentioned. I'm sure all of this is going to be highlighted in that memorandum that will be handed over.
Definitely, the memorandum capture the context of our action today, of our strike, but also the memorandum comes out very clear in terms of the demands. What is it that we demand the government to do, the business to do as intervention?
Thank you very much, Mr. Edwin Mkhize, the Provincial Secretary of COSATU, just outlining what they are demanding from government, but also calling on the state to also ensure that, cases that are happening in the country, such as gender-based violence, as he spoke there, but also the Durban harbour, that has also been a very highly contested and topical issue that we are experiencing in Durban here. You would know, if you've been following Transnet, that there were talks about the communications office moving to Nelson Mandela Bay, or rather Gqeberha, in the Eastern Cape. So some of the issues that they're highlighting out, and I'm sure that's going to be touched also in the memorandum that they'll be handing. I'm going to try and speak to some people here, Desiree. If Nhlanhla Faso can just walk with me, as you can see on your screens, a lot of people have come out in their numbers, and I just want to talk to the people on the ground, because this is a people's march. It is a COSATU march, but also many people have come out in the numbers. Let's see if we can't grab you live on SABC News, ma'am. Just talk to us. You are here, I see you from SATU. Why are you lending your voice this morning?
Well, we just want our standards as teachers to increase, especially our pay as well. Since the cost of living is increasing every day, we find that our salaries, our increases haven't come through as yet. So we're patiently waiting, and we hope today will make a difference.
Thank you very much. Let's try and move on here and see if we can speak to some more people. I see this gentleman here. Sir, you've also come out from SATU to lend your voice. Why are you standing in solidarity with all these people here today?
Well, firstly, I'm a principal, and we are at the end of all these austerity measures of the government. The way in which we are going is that at some stage we won't be able to operate because of all the austerities. Already my staff will be operating with 4 teachers down and haven't been replaced, etc. So I think SATU has highlighted this. It's a beginning of something, but I think in terms of where we're going, I think we have to really have a relook at how we are funding education as well. Not only salary-wise, etc., but in terms of giving the right infrastructures to schools as well, and the support as well. So it's been a difficult period for us, but it has to get better. Over these last 2 years, people have died and haven't been replaced, or the department has taken their own time to replace teachers, etc. So yes, we are coming out of it, but it's just a reminder that we have to do much better. So I'm supporting education because it's vital, the way in which we go forward. So yes, it's a bit, it's come upon us very quickly, but we have to support it as well.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. Well, Desiree, they're on the ground. Teachers also, the principal, just speaking about some of the challenges they have. And as you would know, in a province as vast as KwaZulu-Natal, education and teachers, we still need a lot of teachers in our schools, especially in rural schools. While people are converging here at King Dennis Zulu Park here, and they're going to be marching to the City Hall. I am told that we should be starting in the next 20 minutes, but we'll be keeping you abreast with what's happening on the ground with that nationwide COSATU march here in Durban. It's back to you, Desiree.
Jade, thank you so much for that update from King Dinizulu Park. As you can see, throughout the morning, talking to various colleagues from around the country. We also still have those live scenes from Klerksdorp, where Zebulon is watching events. Zebulon Maine there.